Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back, Gaming Mafia 2, Kicking It with CrabMan, formerly known as Random Rambling. Taking a different look into the podcast and starting with a name change, and we are going to be going furthermore with Kicking It with CrabMan. Something I think has a little bit more ring to it than Random Rambling, but this will still be a podcast where I randomly ramble, but there will be certain topic points to the podcast, but we'll be going with a new name going into the future. If you're liking the podcast, make sure you leave a like, comment, and subscribe, and go follow the Patreon. It's only $1. You get all of the videos uploaded earlier, and it's just $1, and it helps support the channel going forward. So yeah, this will forever be the Kicking It with CrabMan podcast. Welcome. I am your host, your favorite neighborhood CrabMan. Let's get it cracking. So I want to start with some music. What's been going on in my music? What's on my aux? We're going to call this segment Pass the Aux. The most recent song I added to my Spotify is Backward Falls by Chuck Strangers, Lifetime by Fem Dot and Saba, and One For Me by Aaron May, Old Me by Zay, and Chosen One by OG Smooth. OG Smooth is also a fan of the channel, homeboy of mine from the Marine Corps. Shout out to Russell. My top 10 most played songs on repeat on Spotify are For the Last Time by Suicide Boys, Pistol Packing by NLE Choppa, and Big X the Plug, by Big X the Plug, Where I Belong by Rex Life Raj, 1000 Blunts by Suicide Boys. Is that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? Listen by Chef G. Texas Hold'em by Beyonce is by my wife, so don't count that one. Reverend by Smino. Finding Shelter in My Larynx by Suicide Boys. Say Please by Fredo Bang. Stay Away by Max Streets. And I've been listening to P's and Q's again a lot by Lil Uzi Vert. And Antarctica by Suicide Boys. So a lot of Suicide Boys play here recently. I really enjoy Suicide Boys. So if you take a deeper look into my musical background, my favorite artist of all time is Kanye West, someone who I think has never had a bad album in its entirety. I've yet to listen to the new album, just haven't had time to get around and listen to it, which I need to. Love Kanye. My favorite Kanye album is obviously Graduation, greatest album of all time in my opinion. And what doesn't need to be said doesn't need to be said. I just love Kanye. Outside of Kanye, my favorite artists are Kid Cudi and Mac Miller, guys who really helped me through high school. You guys say high school, like, damn, how old are you? Yes, I am pretty old. I am 28 years old, knocking on the 30-year-old door. Kid Cudi and Mac Miller are just guys who really helped me through high school, and guys have been a staple in my musical listening for 10 years or more. Love both of those guys. Rest in peace to Mac Miller. Outside of those guys, I love me some Tech Nine. I love Kevin Gage, Rod Wave. I know you're probably thinking he hasn't said Lil Wayne or J. Cole, Kendrick. Hold your horses, we're gonna get there. Love me some Wayne. Carter 3 is one of my favorite albums of all time. I remember getting the Carter 3 as a Christmas present as a shorty. You can't go wrong with Wayne. The Drought 3, No Ceilings. Just Wayne is the GOAT in my opinion, but he is not my favorite rapper or artist of all time. It will always forever be Kanye. My favorite Kanye songs are like Roses. That song brings memories to my grandmother. May she rest in peace. Love You, Francis. Champions. Just like so many timeless classics. And when you add Kids See Ghosts and you get that Reborn with Kid Cudi and Kanye, two of my favorites on the same song, forget about it. Cruel Summer, another album that is timeless in my eyes, just perfect. Good Music that album was a staple in, I want to say, my senior or junior year. Just absolutely phenomenal. This podcast, if you can't tell, is less about sports or professional wrestling, but just a little bit more about me as the creator, me as CrabMan or Gambino Gaming, me as just Joe the person. Music is really huge into my life. Like, On my Spotify right now, I have 4,047 songs. And I listen to music every day. To work, on the way to work. If I'm out to a podcast, I've got my Subaru Legacy on volume 30 blaring Fuck That Bitch by Young Dro or Shoulder Lean by Young Dro and T.I. It's just a crazy. If you put my Spotify on shuffle, I'm gonna turn the volume up so I don't get copyright stricken. Shuffle. Why is it not shuffling? Okay. When I'm Gone by Eminem. The Needle by Tech Nine, Chris Calico. The Nation by Jake Lambo and B.O.B. Bad Girls by Sage the Gemini. Not Alone by Head. Like, my musical demographic is not a lot of what people would expect. I like hip-hop rap music that has a lot of lyricism to it. Something that's got meaning to it. Yes, I'm going to listen to some trap artists that really talking about a lot of guns, money, bitches, and drugs just to get hype. But I like Saba. Prom King is just a great song. Any Mac Miller, Kid Cudi, J. Cole, Kendrick, Jid. Like, I like thinking when I'm listening to music. I like breaking down the bars. That's just the insight into my music. Like, I really like metal. Chelsea Granite is my favorite rock group, metal group, whatever you want to classify them as. That they're my favorite, and they have been since like my sophomore year of high school, 2010, 2011. If you got any bangers, drop them in the comments. I will be dropping my Spotify playlist on the Patreon. Quick plug for Patreon. It's only $1. Go to the Patreon. You get all these videos early. It's an insight behind the scenes content. You see the upcoming videos coming to the channel, things of that nature, and you help me continue to pursue my career as a YouTuber, which sounds weird. So if you don't know me, my name is Joe Senior, and I am a 10-year veteran of the United States Marine Corps and the United States Army. I'm from Pulaski, Virginia, Southwest Virginia, back in the sticks. A little place that ain't got a whole lot, but it's home. For the longest time I didn't claim it, but the more I stay here, the more I have become comfortable with saying that it is where I'm from. Outside of that, I graduated high school in 2013. It's been 11 years since I graduated high school, and I joined the Marine Corps and went to Paris Island September 3rd, 2013. Charlie Company 1088. There's a Marine Corps flag. If you've been around the channel long enough, you've seen the changes to the studio. The changes to the studio now that there's a Marine Corps flag hanging above my head. There's a Fuji flag that I got from a homeboy while I was in Japan. A lot of things, some of these Funko Pops up here on the wall I've had since Japan, like the War Machine one and the Black Panther one and the Iron Man one. I've all had those since Japan, so I've had some of these Funko Pops for 9-10 years at this point in my life. I create content to entertain people. I'm not doing it for the money or for the fortune or the fame. I do it because I like entertaining. I like being funny. I like gauging people's interest. And that's literally why I do it. I'm not doing it to become famous. I just like entertaining, and being a YouTuber, something I always dreamed of even as a kid. I watched so much YouTube. Like, my favorite YouTubers growing up were like X Chase Money, iPod King Carter, The Game Block, rest in peace, King of the Fourth Quarter. Think of somebody else. Other people I was watching really as a kid. Who else was I really watching as a shorty? I mean, those are the real main guys. Like X Chase Money was literally like my go-to guy for the longest time. But nowadays I'm watching MMG and King of the Fourth Quarter, Pee Wee the Gamer, Jinxie, Those are the guys that I find interesting because they play games that I like. Deeper look into me, like my favorite 3 or 4 favorite games of all time is number 1 is Heavy Rain, number 2 is Resident Evil Biohazard, number 3 is the very first Tomb Raider game that came out on Xbox One, and number 4 is Injustice. Those are like staples of my fandom as gaming, all games that are recent but had a long-term stint in my gaming outlook, like NBA Live 03, ESPN 2K5, SmackDown vs. Raw, all love them. Was never a real huge fan of Halo, love Gears of War and God of War, never been a big fighting game kind of guy. I'm a story mode driven guy, like Detroit Become Human, Heavy Rain, what's the other one, The Walking Dead Telltale series, Detroit Become Human. See if this will help me find the game. Surviving game PS4. I'm trying to think of the name of that game where you had to survive overnight. Do I have it up there? No, I don't have it up there right now. But I can't think of the name of it. No, Surviving Night. Surviving Nights images. Sorry, this is going to drive me crazy. I want you guys to know what the name of this game is that I'm talking about. Until Dawn. And then the Order of 1886. Like, those are the games that I played the fuck out of, like, in my time with the Marine Corps. Randomly rambling, but those, like, if you look around the channel, the games I'm playing are games I enjoy, like Police Simulator, Gas Station Simulator. I like those simulator games where you have to grind to see the better outcome of your franchise or your whatever such a case may be. I was about to say something, but I lost my train of thought. Back to the Marine Corps thing. I originally was stationed in Okinawa, Japan. Camp Hansen, 3rd Battalion, 12th Marine, Full String Go Boom. I was there for over 2 years and even got a Japanese tattoo on my freaking bicep. Where's the freaking camera? Boom. And then from there I went to Marine Corps Air Station Cherry Point and was with MWS 271. And then I got out of the Marine Corps. The reasoning being behind that is in 2014, I tore my right meniscus and lost complete range of motion in that knee, and the Marine Corps said that it wasn't a real muscle or wasn't a complete tear, when in reality it was, and I rehabilitated it and it never was the same. And then 1 year later I tear my left meniscus. Luck of the draw, I guess, I don't know. And then I found myself into an altercation where another Marine had wrongfully accused me of sexually harassing him because I told him he had to work extra days because he was slacking off. So he went to my battalion first sergeant and told him that I was sexually assaulting him or harassing him, which was never the case. He got me and he got another buddy of mine, shot him to Mount Warner, and cost me my first promotion. And from that day forward, I just never looked at the Corps the same. It was already moving in a direction that had pushed me away because I don't want to say it was getting softer, but it wasn't the gung-ho organization that I thrived to join in as a junior, sophomore, looking forward to my career, because here in Virginia there's not much really here, and I wanted to go out and make the best for myself, and joining the Marine Corps was what was best for me, because I have a cousin who retired from the Navy and my granddaddy was in the Army. Everybody was in Army there was no one really in the Marine Corps, so I took that step to be the first one to join the Marine Corps, and it was probably the best decision for my life at that time, with me not had taken college serious, me not taking high school serious, and not having any actual insight on joining or going to college. So I joined the Marine Corps, and I went to Parris Island, and completely turned my life around for what turned out to be the best long term, because now I'm a 90% disabled veteran who's put myself through college to become a teacher. This podcast is going to be a lot different than what you probably were expecting when you clicked onto it, but a coworker of mine, shout out to Craig, said that I need to do an episode and just talk about me. And this episode I'm talking about me, letting you get to know the man behind the camera outside of the video games and the sports and the wrestling. That's why me breaking down like my musical preferences, like Kanye, Kid Cudi, Mac Miller, really love Suicide Boys, XXXTentacion, Kevin Gage, Rod Wave, Tech N9ne, J. Cole. I was a huge Drake fan in high school, but the older I got, the more I realized that wasn't the type of music for me. And my taste in music has continued to evolve over the years. Like, I never was a huge fan of that grungy punk rock rap music. And now, like Suicide Boys, X, Ski Mask, Uzi, Juice WRLD, those are the guys I really enjoy listening to. Like, I've always been a fan of comedic rap, like Young Gravy and what's the name of that group? They did that Jack Sparrow song, Threw It on the Ground. Threw It on the Ground. Lonely Island. I've always liked that kind of music. I've always been a fan of dubstep, like what's that guy's name? Buzz Lightyear. R.Y. Legit, and was like my favorite dubstep artist of all time. Now I'm trying to see if I can find my dubstep playlist from years ago. I've had the same Excision, Cookie Monster. Those were like my guys. Hoochie, Keys and Crates, Bauer. Those were like my favorite dubstep artists as a high school student. And I've always leaned on music as kind of my safe haven for, this is a deep insight, as someone who struggles with severe anxiety, depression, and paranoia. Music is my way of toning myself back in and zoning back into staying on the right track. I had another transitional point, but I completely forgot what it was. I don't know. Music is, I have on this side a basketball with headphones with musical instruments. Like, I played the drums as a kid, inspired to sing and inspired to play the violin, so I got it tattooed. Like, I'm a guy with multiple tattoos. I got the Marine Corps tattoo here. I got one for all my dead relatives, one for my mom, even though we don't get along anymore, one for my old lady, and obviously the Japan tattoo. I plan on getting more. I want to get some for my kids, one for my dog Benny, rest in peace, one for Zoe, even though she's still alive. I still want to get one for her. I want to get Vegeta, Zoro, Sub-Zero would be cool because he's my favorite Mortal Kombat character. Boba Fett, Darth Maul, Black Panther, Green Lantern, Squirtle. Like, I have a lot of ideas for tattoos, but that shit's just not that cheap. And all my money goes into this studio that you see behind me. This stuff is not cheap, and it adds up over time. So that's why you should subscribe to the Patreon. It's only $1. Excuse me. So, leaving Japan, backtracking to why I decided to get out of the Marine Corps. After getting falsely accused and not even be able to stand up for myself without it being used seemed as disrespectful, I had already signed out. I had already checked the box that I was done. You're not going to falsely accuse me of something and not be able to defend myself without it being deemed as disrespectful. That just didn't seem fair in my eyes. And it's not fair at all. And it's something I think about all the time. Like, how can you falsely accuse somebody of something and still be able to save face? Like, they completely moved the guy from the unit, moved him to the company. He got meritoriously promoted, even though he was a scrub of a Marine. And it was a weird time. And I came to the States, married my old lady. We moved to North Carolina, to where I went to MWS 271. My best friend Jeff was there. Shout out to Jeff. And then at that point I had already checked out. I was already prepared to leave. And it was just like more of a downward spiral, because overseas Marine Corps and home Marine Corps aren't really the same. Like, I can think back to times in Japan, going to White Kishan and getting me some chicken teriyaki on rice, chicken teriyaki stir fry on rice, and drinking at the bars, hanging out with the fellas. The legal drinking age in Japan was 20, but they didn't card and sue me. It was the greatest time of my life. Those 2 years there, I learned a lot about myself. Really put a lot of effort into the Marine Corps and didn't get anything back. Yeah, I was a quick promoted corporal, but it should have been quicker due to the fact that I had gotten my promotion rights revoked for a couple months due to the fact that I had received an article for sexually harassing another Marine. And like, at times I sit back and think, like, what could my career have been if I hadn't became disgruntled over something I had all the right to be disgruntled about. I could have still been in. I could have been at year 10, staff sergeant or something at this point. But you took that spark out of me when you didn't give me the right to defend myself in something that didn't actually happen whatsoever. So fast forward, we get to North Carolina, and I just went with the motions. I worked my way up to assistant head chef, head cook, or whatever, because I was a cook for the majority of my career in the Marine Corps. And I just watched the time tick down till it was time for me to leave, and that's what I did. And me and my wife moved in with a friend. Shout out to the Daniels. And I put all my effort into going to school because I wanted to do criminal justice at first, and came to a realization that that wasn't for me. So I was going to school, working out. I got to be like 215 at one point in time, just eating good, going to the gym religiously. And then Jeff, being Jeff that he is, messaged me. He was like, let's join the Army. And at that point in time I was like, hell no, I'm not going to the Army, dude. I'm done with the service. And realized I hadn't put myself in the right place to continue to push forward with bills and things. My wife was working and I was going to school. I hadn't found a job that I really wanted. I had got an offer to work at the IHOP that she was working at, and they were offering me less money than I felt like I was worth. That may seem or sound crazy when you hear it, but someone who worked in a kitchen for the Marine Corps, and I knew I had the experience to be paid more than the average cook. So he hit me back again, and I was like, screw it, let's go see the recruiter. And one thing led to another, and I shipped out to the freaking Army. Something that I never would have saw myself doing in hindsight years into the Marine Corps, or years prior to the Marine Corps, because I was always a go-getter Marine Corps guy. But you know, sometimes you sacrifice things to do things for what's best at the moment. Maybe it wasn't best at that time, maybe it was. I don't know. It really changed my life again. Went back to Fort Lee again and met a lot of really cool people. And then me and my family, well, at the time I guess it was just me and my family, me and my wife and my 2 dogs, we moved to Texas. Completely out of our realm. We were all East Coast kids. My wife was born in California, but she was raised in Virginia like me. And I had already developed a drinking problem. If you know me as a personal person, you know I've been sober going on 4 years now. I had developed a drinking habit once my grandfather died, because he was my idol. When he passed away while I was at Fort Lee the first time, I got to a very dark place, and drinking was my coping mechanism, as ugly as it was, it's what helped. And being in the Marine Corps, you're going to drink, use nicotine, party, and hang out with the fellas. And that partying and hanging out with the fellas became a lot worse than what I had realized at the time. So fast forward, I'm in Texas, 1st Cav Division, as a cook. And originally it was solid. I went to the border, did a mission with the border, got a really cool coin. Hold that thought and I'll show you the coin. So yeah, I went to the border and I smacked shit. I smacked shit hard. I kicked ass the entire time I was down there. And I was gifted this coin from a 3-star general. Pretty dope. Pretty fucking dope. It was one of the first legit coins that I got, other than the one I got from Master Gunner Sergeant Steel. Shout out to Master Gun Steel. And here's my boot camp ring. Still have it 10 years later. I still have it. It's not going anywhere. They're going to get passed down to my kids. And for those who may think that I wasn't serious about being sober, I have my AA coins. But we'll get to that later in the video. I have one of my first sets of chevrons. I have this coin, Spanish coin, that I don't even know where that came from, to be honest. There are no strangers here, only friends we haven't met yet. Welcome, keep coming back. So yeah, I went to the border and I was there for a while. We were staying in an abandoned furniture warehouse and waking up and cooking and doing all these things at the border during that time when Trump was president. And I came home and I got reassigned to a new unit, and the leadership in that unit was god awful. And the Sperminator, that's when I really hit the peak of my depression and my suicidal ideations. And I did the right thing and told my chain of command for it to go higher, and it went from one of my really close friends, Sergeant Solis, to the Sperminator, and it stopped there. And I began drinking really heavy and drinking during work and taking beer showers and doing things that just wasn't normal or natural for me at the time, because I was just trying to find a way to drown out my sorrows and keep those negative thoughts out. And that came really close a lot of times to, to doing that thing that I don't want to say. And then one day I get really sick, and I had to go to the doctor for some reason. I don't know what it was for, but I had been drinking at the time. And the nurse said, your blood alcohol content is a lot higher than it should be at 8 o'clock in the morning. And that's when I realized, fuck, I might have dug myself into a hole that I can't get myself out of. And then she said, either we can tell your chain of command or you can go to rehab. So I had to go to rehab. And we were getting breathalyzed and taking your piss test every Monday and a breathalyzer every day. And I was in there with other people who had alcohol issues, people who had weed issues, cocaine issues, because there's zero tolerance for drug use in the military. And I had a friend who were no longer on speaking terms, said that the reason that me and my wife had struggled to have kids for as long as we had, because we've been trying since we've been married, and we got married in 2016, and fast forward, this was 2018, 2019, and we still hadn't had a baby yet. He said the reason is probably because you drink a lot. And I was like, I don't think that's what it is. And I get sober October 19th of 2019. My wife gets pregnant in February. Coincidence? Maybe. I doubt it. I'll give all grace to God, because he's the reason that it happened. But that's just kind of how it happened. I had to get sober to have a baby, and now I've been sober 4 years, and it's been a very positive change in my life, because I was just getting blackout drunk, drinking and throwing up, just being belligerent. and it wasn't positive on my health, my marriage, my career, or anything. So then I get sober and I become one of the best drivers in my unit for LMTVs and Humvees. Like, they're calling my name all the time to do these driving, escorting hits, and all these other things, like master driver type shit. And then I become a repair guy at the dining facility, and that really boosted my career because I gained a lot of respect from people at higher positions like Master Sergeant Mull and all those guys at Fort Hood. Another place where I made a lot of friends. It was a very interesting time in my life, and once it came time for my contract to be up, I had already signed up that I was ready to go because I wasn't getting the respect that I felt like I had deserved through all my hard work and efforts. So I was ready to go. I'm not a quitter, but I'm not going to take disrespect lightly or at all. Not to me, not to anyone around me. You can ask I don't want to say my employees, but my coworkers that kind of fall underneath me as the repair guy at my job. You don't disrespect them because you're going to have to deal with Joe. It's just that simple. They come to me before they come to what would be like our facilitator, which is like the assistant manager. We have like a facilitator and then a supervisor. So the facilitator is like the assistant manager. They skip him, come to me, someone who ain't really got any power because they know I'm gonna get that shit done. And I always go for the respect I feel like I deserve. And in my 2 stints of the military, I didn't get the respect I deserved at any point in my own personal eyes. I mean, there's certain times where, yeah, maybe I did, but it didn't pan out to be anything. It was just more like a pat on the back, not any sort of recognition. I mean, I got awards, but most of those awards, they just kind of pencil somebody's name in, and who was the best at being the best. I mean, 2 + 2, I don't know. I don't even know where my glasses are. I think they're in the car. That's going to bite me in the ass later. That's just the insight to my career. So I left the Marine Corps and didn't have any plan for me, my wife, my kid, my 2 dogs. Because I was just so stressed out and so ready to be over with it that I didn't properly plan. Like, I can show you some awards right here. Hold that thought. This video is going to be a lot different than what you have seen. So if you like it, just let me know. So I got this one from my last unit. Specialist Joseph Gamble. It's the state of Texas. It reads, in appreciation for your timeless efforts, unwavering service, and sincere dedication to the NCOs and soldiers of the 3rd Platoon, Team 6, we say thank you for your outstanding leadership and dedication to us, your brothers, your sisters, and our mom from Team 6, Sergeant Lapp. We love you so much. Big Dog. Because that's what everybody calls me. They call me Big Dog. Or Dad, even though I wasn't that much older than, but as the like 24, 25-year-old guy in the unit, I was kind of the older guy, which is weird to say. And it says 26 April 2008 to 11 July 2021. 2008, I was like an 8th grader, so it was a typo. But yeah, there's this one. And I got my original sets of dog tags, every one. And they will go to my kids when I die, so they have something to remember me by. That and all these things and all the memories. And then I got this one from MWS 271. You can read this one. Thank you for your outstanding contributions to MWS 271 and HNS. We wish you well and hope for the best wherever you go. Good luck in your future endeavors, fair winds and far seas. And then I got some medals and stuff on the back, EGA, some rank, marksman ribbons, and yeah. You know, like, people at work be like, when I tell them I did 10 years, like, 10 years, how does that make any sense? You're not even that old. I'm 28. I signed up at 18, and I did 5 years Marine Corps, really 9 years, but who cares, round up. 5 years Marine Corps, 4 years Army, 1 year reserve. Was it 5, 4, 3, 1? Yeah, something like that. I don't know. The time runs together. So, me and my family packed up everything we had, everything we owned, and we moved from Texas to Virginia. and it was probably the best decision at the time, and I still think it's the best decision now. As much as we wanted to stay in Texas because we enjoyed it there, we also wanted to move closer so my kids could be closer to my wife's family, because outside of like my aunt and my OG big brother, and those are the only two people that I really talk to on a regular basis, me and my family don't really get along. I mean, my granny was alive when we came back, but now she's no longer with us. And then I picked up a job at a place called Backcountry, where they sell like skis and snowboards and backpacking stuff. And it was a cool job. Worked my way up to being like a guy with a radio. Not super important, but someone who's beneficial to the overall success of the plant. And then the progress there declined, and they had an opening at the job that I'm at now, which is Volvo Trucks North America, one of the biggest mass production trucks in all of North America. And I got hired on there on Valentine's Day, so I've been there 2 years now. And I had no idea what I was getting myself into, because I never had plans on ever coming back to Virginia or ever working at Volvo. Now I've been there 2 years, and it's a place that I complain constantly about how much I hate it and how much I'd rather work somewhere else, but it's like the only thing I know, and pays the bills and gives me and my family health insurance, and I make a decent amount of money. And I got there and I started. My first job was as the fifth man at the axle building, and then I went from there to cab mount torque. All these things aren't going to mean anything to you guys, but just keeping things black and white. And then from there I went to brake hose install, and then from there I did that. And then my co-worker, the guy I work with every night, Matt Questerman, shout out to Q, he went to have his son, and I did his job, options repair, putting on specific parts like fuel filter brackets and hitches and things of that nature. And then I did work on the electric truck for about 5 weeks or something like that. And then we had summer shutdown, because we shut down for 2 weeks in the summer every year. And we came back, and the guy that was doing my job prior, Chester, had took another job and had been working 2 jobs at the time, and had dropped the ball on us that he was leaving after that night. And my boss was like, hey, it's either going to be you or it's not going to be anybody else. And I took a job that I had no experience in all actuality, because doing options at the time, I wasn't doing much repair, just mostly just the options part. And I've been doing that job ever since, and that's been since the most recent shutdown, so August till now. And I just got approved to go from second shift, which is 4:05 to 12:30, to daylight, which will be like 6 to 2:30. And it's going to be a huge change. The channel's going to see a lot of difference, because I won't get home until like 3:30, because it's a 45-minute drive to work, and then I'm going to need a shower, nap, and spend time with my kids and things of that nature, and then trying to find time to record. But you guys are going to have to be patient with me, which you have been. This channel has grown a substantial amount over the last like 3 or 4 months. Since the beginning of the new year, channel took a huge jump. It's kind of hitting a plateau right now, but I've also got to get back on my shorts, because that's where I see a lot of the progress and the subscribers come from. But yeah, that's just an insight into me, man. Like, my favorite movie of all time is Monsters Inc. My favorite actor of all time is Shia LaBeouf. I love Disturbia and Fury and Transformers and everything Shia LaBeouf. He's my guy. My favorite anime is One Piece, but you guys probably know that. Like this monitor right here, the wallpaper, well, I guess all the wallpapers on these 2 monitors is One Piece. My favorite One Piece character is Zoro. My favorite Dragon Ball Z character is Vegeta. My favorite Digimon is Gabumon. My favorite Pokemon is Squirtle. My favorite DC character is John Stewart Green Lantern, Black Marine. Pretty simple. My favorite Marvel character is the Hulk. My favorite Marvel villain is Magneto. My favorite DC villain, which you probably already know this, there's a freaking Joker painting here, I got a canvas down there, is the Joker. I'm a diehard Pittsburgh Steelers fan. Not a diehard Cavs fan, but that's my favorite team. Not a diehard Cubs fan, but that's my favorite team. Not a diehard, by any means, Penguins fan, but I like the Pittsburgh Penguins. I love Alice in Wonderland. My favorite Christmas movie is Jingle All the Way, which is somewhere over in that area. My favorite Overwatch character is Diva. My favorite Mortal Kombat character is Scorpion and then Baraka. My favorite cartoon of all time was Courage the Cowardly Dog. My favorite TV show of all time is Martin. Just like my favorite Star Wars character is Boba Fett and Darth Maul. My favorite basketball player of all time is Tracy McGrady. My favorite football player of all time is Troy Polamalu. I don't have a really favorite baseball or hockey fan. My favorite Cav of all time is Mo Williams. It's going to sound weird. Not LeBron. It's Mo Williams. It's just an insight into me. Because if you only know me as CrabMan or Gambino Gaming, there's a lot of those things that you don't know. Like one of my other favorite animes is Cowboy Bebop and Spike Spiegel. See you later, Space Cowboy. I like Power Rangers. My favorite Marvel movie is Thor Ragnarok and then Age of Ultron. My favorite Naruto character is it was Gar for the longest time, but as time grew, Gar became softer. I love Jiraiya. Shikamaru and Neji are probably my other two favorites. I had to look it up because I haven't watched Naruto in so long. I like Full Metal Alchemist and Brotherhood. Lord of the Rings is my favorite movie series. Michael Jordan is the GOAT. So is Brady. Who's considered to be the GOAT of baseball? Is it still Babe Ruth? That's a very good question. I don't know. That's just a little insight. If you like this video, make sure you leave a like, comment, and subscribe. If you want to see more, hear more stories about my life, make sure you leave a like so I know you enjoyed this kind of content of me just sitting here and giving you a peek into the window of my life. Go subscribe to the Patreon and get this video days earlier. It's going to get posted on Patreon right now. But until next time, I've been your favorite neighborhood CrabMan. Until next time, peace.